Hello Capricorn, and welcome to the first video for your sign of the Men Edit. I'm pretty excited to bring this to you guys. It is something that I'm quite passionate about. I did a video update just before Christmas and I talked about holding space for men. I feel like it's something that as a society we've kind of let slip, and the balance of power is tipped the other way. And for me, male suicide rates at an all-time high, and I feel like one of the reasons for that is that men don't have the space and often don't feel supported in the community to actually be vulnerable and talk about their feelings. So I'm guided to that as a light worker and holding the space for men, as such I am doing this series, the Men Edit. So this is for single, married, straight, gay, transgender, whatever your thing is, it's for all men of all times. Ladies, this is not one for you. It's not for divine masculine. It is simply one for the men. I have, although you're very welcome, right? Because I know you're cross-watch, of course. I have gone and gotten a new deck specifically for this reading. It's called Gods and Titans. It's very cool. I like it a lot. And the readings so far have just been like, it's been adding that much extra to the readings. So let's get started. Universe and angels, messages and guides, my higher self, I call upon you now to give me a clear and accurate reading for Capricorn men for the month ahead. Please show me what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Spirit, I need 4 cards, please. Thank you so much. Another 3 cards, please. Did you see that pop? It's pretty cool. How many did they give me? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie's my white dove. That's why the channel's called Healing Dove Tarot. He's my key spirit guide. All right, Capricorn, I'm going to take a card from the bottom of the deck. You are coming into this time period with the card of Judgment. Interesting. So straight off the bat, just before Valentine's Day, I am going to call it as I see it, I feel like someone could be coming from the past to reconcile with you, wanting to reconnect, okay? Judgment does speak about second chances, right? I often refer to it as the phoenix rising from the ashes, and you can see that depicted on this card. It's quite funny that I'm talking about Eddie the dove, and the dove's at the center of the card. He tends to do that. It's a bit cheeky, coming up in symbolism. But I think it's really interesting that it's coupled with the Ace of Cups, because the Ace of Cups speaks about that. It can speak about new love, and a lot of readers will see that part of it. But another side of the Ace of Cups is reconciliation. Page of Cups would be an apology, but I feel like it's someone coming back to try and reconcile with you, Capricorn, to try and get back with you. And I don't feel like you really want to reconnect with this person. In terms of signs, I have a younger fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I mean, they could be any side. It is a general reading. I do have underneath, and I haven't really been going through the bottom of the deck a lot, but I do have the Knight of Pentacles as well. So another Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn could be coming in trying to reconnect. What's interesting though is I feel like you really don't want to accept this offer. 4 of Cups is like someone making an offer and you going, is that really what I want? It's an interesting illustration in this deck because it's like things that are hidden under the moon, right? And the rat or the mouse is sitting across all the cups bar one. This is this new cup coming in. How I like to see that symbolically, it's almost like I don't really know if I need you to fulfill me. You can see the rat's perfectly balanced on 3 cups, and 3 of Cups often speaks about family and friendship. There's definitely heartbreak here because I have a 5 of Cups, so I feel like there's been a little bit of depression and sorrow as you've moved away from this person. So it's almost like you've been wanting them to come back or to reconnect. This isn't purely a love reading, by the way, but I've got to call the cards as I see it, and that's what's coming up quite strongly. Yeah, it's funny because the extra 3 cards that came out all came out reverse. So 8 of Wands, this is definitely a card of communication, wanting lots of text messages trying to come in, but it's in the reverse. So I feel like it's someone that you've blocked, and it's come up with the Knight of Wands. So This is player kind of energy, someone who kind of comes in, comes out, and I feel like you've blocked them, Capricorn. Maybe it's someone that was taking advantage of you. And you know, if there's one thing I know, even though I'm not a male Capricorn, obviously I am a Capricorn, and we tend to be very, very giving until a point. And when we reach that cutoff point, it's almost like that's it. And I feel like you've reached that point, Capricorn. So even though this person's coming back in and there is love there, and it's probably playing on your heartstrings quite a fair bit, I don't see you accepting it and taking this person back. You have the Five of Wands here. It's in the reverse. In the upright, this speaks about arguments, right? Quite vocal arguments, like really getting on each other's nerves. So I feel like you used to fight a lot. And I almost get the sense that the person who's trying to come back and offer you this cup of love is giving that whole spiel of, you know, but I'm different, I've changed, and, you know, please accept me back. And we have all this emotional connection, and they're playing on your heartstrings, as I said. They're really trying to hone in on that. For some of you, it may just be that you have a reconnection, and then, you know, you see that person in their true light, and it's almost like it's something that you've wanted and now you don't want it anymore. Does that make sense? You know how sometimes we wish for something so much, and then when we finally get it, it's like, what's that old wives' tale? Be careful what you wish for, because you may actually get it, and then you're like, oh, it's not actually what I want. Now, for those of you where it's not love, this could be pertaining to something to do with work, okay? The Ace of Cups can speak about love and romance and something of that nature, but can also speak about something that fulfills you, that's quite emotionally fulfilling when it comes to work. And, you know, it wouldn't be a Capricorn reading if I wasn't to touch on, you know, what we're doing and creating in the world. And it's really interesting because, you know, the cards that are here, the Wands cards, the passion, the fire, everything else like that is in the reverse. The emotion is there. So maybe what it's telling me is that maybe you're having the realization that what you're doing in terms of work is no longer bringing you passion and joy, and you need to kind of find something else that's going to ignite you again. Because this, you've got, how interesting is this when you see the cards? If you look at the cards, I'm quite visual. That's one of the way that Spirit communicates to me. But do you see what I see? It's like you've got these two wands of fire. You've got this one that's burning, and this almost like looks like it's been put out. So, and they're in the reverse. In the upright, I mean, it's the same story. You've got one wand of passion and one that kind of looks out. Looks like it's burnt out. So they're both wands, right? But I feel like whatever it is that you've been doing, you're working really hard at it. I feel like you're actually talented. You're very talented at Capricorn, but you just don't want to do it anymore. And you may even get to the point where mid-March you don't even have the fight in you anymore to keep going. I don't see any cards of you actually leaving though. I just see you kind of maybe having the realization this month that potentially that career is not for you. You know, Judgment is a card, it's a very deeply spiritual card, and sometimes people overlook that. I often get, what's that statue that's in Brazil that's at the top of the mountain? I've just got a mental blank. I often see that when I see this particular deck and this card. And, it's like resurrection, yeah? Judgment, the second coming, the second calling, resurrection, being born again. And whatever it is that's kind of holding you back career-wise, I feel like it could be time to make a change, Capricorn. Now, if you haven't seen the yearly reading that I did for Capricorn, go check it out, because it's quite good. And I feel like for a lot of you, you could be actually changing jobs around July. I think that was the time frame that I gave when you have the Capricorn Cancer eclipses. It could just be that you're working really hard to get yourself out of this, and maybe you just get the clarity that you need in this month that's no longer fulfilling to you. Now, this is a general reading, so this could be both in the romantic sense and the work sense for you. But I am getting that quite clearly, that either someone's coming back to kind of reconnect and you're just not having it, Capricorn, or you've had the realization that what you're doing, or the career that you're in, or the career that you have built up, whilst you're actually very talented and good at it, as if you wouldn't be, you're a Capricorn, I feel like you know that it's no longer aligned to who you are. Because now, Capricorn, you're the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? So now you need to step in your true self. And for some of you, you could be going through a full spiritual awakening, and that's why what you once used to do no longer sits with who you are as an evolved spiritual being, as the woke spiritual being, yeah? Can I have additional guidance? Thank you. Wow, that came out quick. And it couldn't be any more prevalent. Renewal, Osiris. Very, very cool. What did I say about Phoenix rising from the ashes, right? Pay attention to your need for rejuvenation and renewal, both physically and mentally. You are invited to experience the magic of hope. Perhaps one of the most enduring gods of resurrection, Osiris, husband of Isis, is one of the many members of Egyptian pantheon. Son of the earth god Geb and Nut of the sky, Osiris developed into the god of death and rebirth after his own violent death. The story of Isis's love and devotion to Osiris after he was killed and dismembered by his brother Set is central to Egyptian myth. After his murder, Isis travelled the earth looking for the pieces of Osiris. She then cast a powerful spell which brought her husband back to life, long enough to conceive a son, Horus. Then Osiris retreated back into the underworld. As a deity of resurrection, Osiris gave hope to all that there was an afterlife and that death could be transcended. Osiris did not judge the dead. Also, he was responsible for their afterlife and reincarnation. As a result, the energy of rebirth and renewal is more tied to Osiris than the other lords of the underworld. Complex magical processes, rituals, and rites were created with Osiris as a central figure to ensure a successful resurrection after death. Depicted with green skin to signify his role as a force behind germination and fertility, Osiris ruled over the flooding Nile and budding crops. Osiris can be called upon when you need to be renewed, when you are tired physically or mentally. His energy is nourishing and magical. When you feel like there is no hope, particularly after trauma or a difficult relationship, his presence is soothing. What was I saying? Osiris also appears when there is a conception or transition close at hand. Wow, Capricorn. So what was I saying about resurrection, rebirth, phoenix rising from the ashes, renewal? It's pretty cool, right? I just love the card too. What's really interesting too is that this crystal as well, I don't often talk about the ones that I have on here, but the way that it's cut with, I don't know if you can see the coffin edge to it, and the lighting's probably not very good, but it does have Osiris energy in it. If you guys know what I'm talking about, comment below. I'll put a link below to what I'm talking about. It's quite special, this one. I use it to recharge before I do every reading. Charge in, charge out. And this is labradorite in terms of you know, psychic stone. But it's really funny that I had the feeling when I was doing the Capricorn reading that this card was going to come up for you guys. There is a great invocation here if anyone's really into ritual. It says, there's a lovely rite that is inspired by an old funerary tradition involving the sprinkling of fast-growing alfalfa seeds in a bed of soil. The seeds, which quickly germinated and rose, were a symbol of the soul rising above. The rite below is not for soul rebirth, but for renewal of hope, a fresh start, or refreshed attitude. God, don't we all need that? You'll need some fast-growing seeds, some soil or a planter box, a green candle, and moon water. Moon water can be made by leaving a bowl of water out under the full moon for one night and then placed in a flask or jar for storage. Now, we do have a full moon in Virgo, so sister sign to you, Capricorn, coming up on the 19th of this month. Light the candle, and as you do, say, Osiris, you are Lord of the dead, but also Lord of rebirth. Strip me from what holds me back. And in this death, this void of hope, allow me to grow a new path for me. Then hold the seeds in your hand. Think about all you need for your fresh start. Think about feeling vital, on purpose, healed and whole. Feel the power of this positive feeling grow in your body and then focus it in your hands. Transfer this power to the seeds in your hands. Now throw or plant the seeds in the planter box. As you do this, say, Mighty Osiris, grant complete fertility to these seeds. May they sprout, may they grow, may they reach their ripeness. Then may I harvest them for my greatest good. Now think of one step you'll take towards the new life you have asked for, and action this step within 24 hours if possible. When the seeds sprout, if they are edible, eat them. They contain the power of the god. If they are not edible, simply enjoy them and know that Osiris's energy is actively granting you a brand new beginning. Wow, Capricorn, what a fantastic reading of renewal, of hope, of resurrection. I hope you found this reading helpful, guys. It was a pleasure doing it for you. If you did, please hit the like button. It helps the channel more than you know, and I'll be back with you next month. Take care.